Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. What we're about to discuss is what could be one of the most significant rumors floating around the NHL right now, especially for us Canadiens fans. You know, Montreal has always been a team that's looking to build and retool, especially after last season's impressive playoff run. But the big question, as always, is how do we take that next step? How do we go from just making the playoffs to competing seriously for the Stanley Cup? Well, recent reports and trade rumors suggest that the Canadiens might be eyeing an intriguing move, one that could bring in a veteran superstar to bolster their second line and add some much-needed leadership in the dressing room. And I'm talking about none other than Evgeny Malkin, the legendary Penguins center who's been a cornerstone for Pittsburgh for nearly 2 decades. Yes, you heard that right, heavy. Com recently floated a blockbuster trade proposal that would see Montreal acquire Malkin from the Penguins. Now, I know what you're thinking. Malkin is nearly 39 years old, and yes, he's entering the final year of his contract, which is worth $5 million for this upcoming season. But don't let age fool you. Malkin remains an effective, dynamic player, still capable of producing at a high level and boosting any team he joins. Last season, he tallied 16 goals and 34 assists, finishing with 50 points in 68 games. That's still impressive for a player of his age, and it's a testament to his skill, vision, and hockey IQ. Plus, his experience is invaluable, especially for a team like the Canadiens, which is in the process of developing young talent, but needs that veteran presence to guide the younger generation. Now, imagine a Montreal lineup with Malkin in the second line, providing that veteran leadership and offensive punch. The Canadiens, who have been building through the draft and free agency, recently added some promising pieces like Noah Dobson and Zachary Bolduc. They've also signed former first-round pick Joe Veleno, all part of the plan to strengthen their core. But adding a player like Malkin could be the piece that really elevates the team, making them more competitive and giving them a real shot at pushing further in the playoffs. And remember, Malkin has a Stanley Cup ring, multiple All-Star appearances, and was the MVP of the Stanley Cup Finals back in 2012. He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer, folks, and still has a lot to offer. But what would Montreal have to give up? Well, according to the proposed trade, the Canadiens would send a young forward Datch and one of their second-round picks. Datch, who was drafted 3rd overall in 2019, has had his share of injury struggles, but last season, he managed 10 goals and 12 assists for 22 points in 57 games. Despite the injuries, Datch remains a promising young talent, someone with the size and skill to develop into a top-6 forward. His versatility makes him a valuable asset, and in Pittsburgh's rebuilding process, he could fit nicely into their plans. The Canadiens, on the other hand, would be gaining a true leader, someone who's been through the battles of playoff hockey and who could mentor Ivan Demidov and other young players. And here's where it gets interesting, because the trade isn't just about adding a star. It's also about timing. Malkin is entering the final year of his deal, and the Penguins, under new management, are clearly signaling a rebuild. There's no indication they're planning to offer him an extension, which means he could be on the move. NHL insiders believe that Malkin's name is circulating in trade rumors, and many think he might be traded by the deadline or even before the season starts. For Pittsburgh, it's all about rebuilding the future, and part of that plan involves moving on from veteran players like Malkin, especially if it helps them acquire draft picks and prospects to accelerate their rebuild. Now, you might wonder, what does this mean for Montreal? Well, on the surface, it's a bold move. Acquiring a player of Malkin's caliber at this stage of his career could be seen as a gamble, but it's also a calculated risk that could pay huge dividends. For Montreal, this isn't just about winning now. It's about establishing a culture of winning and having a team that can contend in the near future. Malkin's experience, leadership, and playoff pedigree could be the difference maker, especially when mentoring young stars like Ivan Demidov. Plus, it sends a message to the rest of the division that Montreal is serious about competing, about pushing their chips in and making a statement. And let's not forget, the Canadiens have been quite active this offseason. Besides the trades for Dobson and Bolduc, they've also signed Velino, trying to build a balanced team that's both young and experienced. General Manager Kent Hughes has openly said that his focus is on building a team capable of competing for the Stanley Cup, not just making the playoffs. He's aware that building a championship contender doesn't happen overnight, and he's willing to make bold moves if the opportunity presents itself. Adding Malkin could be one of those bold moves, especially given that he's a free agent after the season and could be motivated to perform at his best to increase his value for next summer's free agency. Looking ahead to the upcoming season, Montreal is set to open on October 8th on the road against the Toronto Maple Leafs, a tough test early on. Their home opener is scheduled for October 14th against the Seattle Kraken. Fans are eager to see how the team's new additions come together and whether they can build on last year's playoff appearance. The pressure is on, but also the excitement, because with the right moves, the Canadiens could position themselves for a deep postseason run. The potential addition of Malkin is just one piece of that puzzle, but it's a piece that could dramatically change the landscape of the team's future. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is still just a rumor, a proposal. Nothing is set in stone, and the Canadiens will have to weigh the cost of giving up Datch and a second-round pick against the immediate boost they could get from Malkin's presence. But the fact remains, if this trade were to happen, it would mark a significant shift for Montreal, signaling their intent to contend and to do everything possible to bring a Stanley Cup back to the city of Montreal. And for the Penguins, it's a chance to hit the reset button, to rebuild with a younger core and look towards the future, even if it means parting ways with a player who's been a franchise icon. So fans, what do you think? Is this the move Montreal needs to push to that next level? Would you be excited to see Malkin don the Canadiens jersey, guiding the young guys and still producing at a high level? Or do you think it's too risky, given his age and the cost? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. This is the kind of bold move that can define a franchise, and Montreal fans are no strangers to making history. Remember, this season could be a turning point, and rumors like these are what keep the excitement alive. Keep your eyes peeled because, as always, I'll be here to bring you all the latest updates, inside scoops, and analysis on everything Canadiens. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Would you support bringing in Evgeny Malkin? Do you see him as a mentor and a playoff performer still capable of making a difference? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and insights into the Canadiens' journey this season. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come. Thanks for watching, and let's keep that passion for the Canadiens burning bright.